What up, guys? So I'm back again with this fall themed painting, and I'm sure some of y'all are like, "Oh, just post the portrait already." Now I'm just playing, but I actually like how this one ended up looking near the end, which of course you're gonna see if you watch all the way through, or you just look at the thumbnail, whichever you do. But um, yeah, the pumpkin looks a lot more defined by the time I was finished by this. I wasn't too happy about the way I left the video at the from the last update or whatever. It ended with the pumpkin looking pretty bland and boring, and just the bottom part completed. Well, mostly completed, so it wasn't even fully complete. But this time I almost fully completed the pumpkin, not quite because I had to do some other things to it. Like if you see at the very end, I made the highlight very bright, and I didn't. It looked okay, but it was brighter than I wanted it to be. And also didn't. This video is shorter than most of the other videos because I just didn't feel like painting anymore. I was really tired, but the crazy thing is I didn't go to bed till 5 o'clock, so it's like why, whatever. But I was getting really tired and I didn't finish, so I'm just painting. I just painted a little bit of it, and I started the flower and I started the apple. In case you didn't know, that blob or the roundish looking thing above the flower on the far left is an apple. And if the picture has been cropped from its original size, so that may be a little bit hard to see, but just know it's an apple and it's very bright. And I know the lighting isn't the best in this picture. It's much more lighter on the left side than it is compared to the right side, so I hope that doesn't throw some of you off too much, or some of y'all might not even care. For those who didn't watch the previous videos, I'm doing this in oil paint. I did an underpainting of acrylic. I always do underpaintings. I've said this many times. It just helps with the process. And sometimes oil, when I'm painting in oil, I feel less pressure to cover the whole canvas with color and more focused on making sure the artwork looks nice. And that helps with doing acrylic underpainting. You could do an oil underpainting. It may be better, maybe not, but I prefer to do acrylic. And when you paint the underpainting in acrylic, I can just fill in every white space and then focus more on the actual painting once I do acrylic. But yeah, as I said, I like how this pumpkin turned out. I started the flower. The flower looks pretty bad right now. Well, it doesn't look bad, but in the actual picture it's blurred out, so I had to smooth it a lot more, so it's not going to look as accurate as you might think it will right now. But I had to work in layers because it's so blurred. I wanted to put down a base of white oil paint, which I later went over top with other colors to get some of the detailing in, but I can only do so much because there was so much yellow in that area that it was just too hard to continue adding color without it just mixing to the point where it was almost undetectable whatever other color you put on it. And for this I'm using lemon yellow. I had to actually buy, well actually my mom bought me, she was nice enough to buy me some new paint because I've been running out of lemon yellow, and the lemon yellow that I did have didn't even have a top to it, so it would eventually completely dry out and I had no other top to spare for it. So I'm just happy that I got a new lemon yellow, and it was pretty pricey. I will admit, oil paint is pricey, but it lasts a very long time. A lot of the paints that I'm using, especially the red and the blue, I've had these paints for about 6 years now, 6 or 7 years now. So that's a long time, because oil paint doesn't really, it will last until you finish using it. So that's the great thing about oil paint. Other things like acrylic, a lot of times it will dry out before you even finish using it, just because it's not necessarily in an airtight container all the time, because more than likely there is some air coming in, and knowing how acrylic reacts, once air gets to it, it will dry out. And there's no doubt about it. Unlike oil paint, which takes a lot longer and it's harder for air to seep through the tubes that it comes in, and even if it does, it still will take a long time. Like even the lemon yellow that I had with no top, it's been without a top for months now, and it's still not completely dry on the inside. It's just all crusted over top. But I still bought a new lemon yellow because there was hardly any left anyway. But I hope to finish more of this painting, and I really like how it's looking. I like to paint still life sometimes. That's mostly what I did when I was in school, was paint still lifes. And I mostly just painted in oil. I was one of the only people who painted oil because I was one of the only people who had previous experiences with oil paint, because I've taken art classes in high school. And just for those who might be watching me who are interested in becoming an artist or pursuing an art career, I suggest, if you're young, like high school age, if you're young, just go take some art classes. If your high school has art classes, take almost all of that you can take. That's basically what I did. But anyway, this is coming to an end. So thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share the video, and see you next time for another video.